Hi guys, welcome to my channel, and today we are going to talk about mastering project guidelines. So guys, first of all, in this video we will be covering the what's the project all about, what are the various sections. We will discuss what needs to be mentioned in each sections, what are the important areas which you need to focus on while preparing the project, and even we will cover one more thing, that the project importance not only from the academic perspective but also from your real life or whenever you're working in any company, because project is the only thing, while if I talk about a distance learning program, then project is the only thing which will broaden your aspects, which will get you a lot of learning, and through this you will be able to explore the other things from business perspective. Because if I talk about the different subjects, different assignments, most of these you can just find from the book or maybe somewhere from the internet. But if I talk about project, so you need to concentrate, you need to prepare on your own, you need to extract the information from a lot of sources, and that will definitely be helpful while in your academic part, as well as when you are working in any business or any organization or any firm. So let's start with the project part. So firstly, I'm just giving you an overview. So normally in most of the universities, I'm taking the example of NMIMS. So final semester in Sem 4, you will get a project. It's similar to one subject which is of 100 marks. The pricing criteria is 50%, that is 50 marks. But unfortunately, there's no option of grace marks. Like if you get 47 or 48 marks and you just think that you will get 2 or 3 marks of grace, then no, you need to get minimum 50 marks. Student can choose any topic of their choice, considering the fact that it should be relatable to their respective stream and specialization. You can choose anything on your own, but if I talk about, like, you are having an interest in share market, so definitely if you are from finance stream or banking stream, you can just choose a share market option. Or if you are talking about in IT, then you can just choose the mobile or maybe cloud computing or any other topic. Definitely I will cover one video where I will be mentioning top 10 or 20 topics related to each stream. That will definitely be helpful to just gain a initial understanding, because many students are confused at which topic to select. One thing, that student needs to pay a fee prior to submitting the project, so that's an important part. In assignments, you just directly upload the assignments, but in project, firstly you need to pay a fee, and then you will get an option to submit your project. The last date of project submission is always similar to the last date of assignment submission. It's similar to all the cycles, irrespective of backlog cycle or the regular cycles. And one thing which the students should understand, that they should start working on the project just the start of the 4th semester, right? Because for that you don't require any questions, you don't require any guidelines to come up. You need to prepare on your own. So definitely you need to spend a lot of time, because it covers 100 marks, and you need to score good marks, and definitely there is no criteria of grace marks. So just start whenever the 4th sem start. Don't wait for the assignments, questions will come up and then you will start working on the project. You can just start from day one only, right? That's an important thing. And second thing is, in NMIMS there's no funda, there's no criteria that students need to submit the topic first, and once they get clarity, and then they will start working on that. You can just directly choose any topic of your own and start working on this. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप पहले email करेंगे, email पे approval आएगा, and so many students are confused कि sir, do I need to get an approval? And I can see a lot of emails where students just mark me as well in the emails कि sir, I'm choosing this topic, is it good or not? So you can choose any topic. There is no foundation कि you can't choose this topic or that topic. Any topic you can choose, and there's no need of any prior approval from the department. You can prepare, you can submit, and you will get marks if everything is fine and as per their guidelines, right? Now I'm covering the project sections, which is very important to understand कि which thing you need to mention in which particular section. आपको clear होना चाहिए कौन से section में आपको क्या context लिखना है. right? It's not like a हमें project बनाना है, you start working on the project. You should understand के what the project talks about, what are the various sections, what needs to be covered. Like if I talk about here, there are 5 key sections: project title, acknowledgements, table of contents, body of project, and annexure. And if you see, I have marked the star on the body part because body comprises of few other sections, because body is the whole soul key stuff, like body of a car that contains a number of things, right? So similarly, project body contains a lot many things, like what's the objective, scope, executive summary, methodology, bibliography, data collection, key findings, and suggestions and recommendations. So maybe we can just talk each of the topic one by one so that you will get an understanding okay, what needs to be written, right? If I talk about the project title, it will start with a very basic thing. You just mentioned the details of the project title, okay, a study of a particular this case study, or maybe the analytical study, or maybe you can just mention the competitive analysis of, or you can say the study related to the share market, or maybe you can say the study related to the cloud computing or the gap analysis, or maybe you can say the market segmentation. So there are a number of topics. You can just start with the giving the project title. After that, you need to specify your name, student name, and then the SAP ID, because SAP ID is unique for each student, right? Title should be clearly describe the project. ऐसा नहीं है कि बहुत कंफ्यूजिंग सा हो. इट्स वेरी क्लियर कि प्रोजेक्ट आपका किसके ऊपर है, राइट? इट शुड बी स्पेसिफिक, क्लियर एंड हैव सम मीनिंग, right? That's very important because that we call it as a first impression is the last impression. So project title is very important. छोटा सा लिखो but बहुत clear होना चाहिए, right? Next is project acknowledgements. Acknowledgements में what you need to mention, you need to thank to those individuals or entities who contributed to the project are formally being recognized, to express the gratitude who plays an important role in the project success, and to acknowledge the contributions publicly. You can just mention the name of few of the mentors or advisors who provide you the guidance, or sometimes you mention the name of any company or organization that will help you in the providing the resources, funding, few of my students have prepared a project on the case study of on SBI, State Bank of India, or maybe they provide a analysis on TCS policies. So they just provide a thank to the person who helped them in getting the information of that particular organization, or maybe you can just directly thank to that company or the organization, like I'm thanking TCS or SBI who can just help me in completing this project on behalf of NMIMS. Then comes the project TOC, which is called as table of contents, which is just an organized list of the main sections and chapters which we are covering in that project document, report, or maybe the presentation. So it's like a roadmap which will help you to locate any specific information. Step by step उसमें लिखा हुआ है, आपको पता है. अच्छा, I want to see what's the key findings. You can see in the table of contents. You can click it and you can just navigate to that particular page. Or maybe you can say recommendations. You can just go, okay, recommendations इस page पे है. You can easily navigate to and fro if the table of contents are clear. It includes the headings and subheadings corresponding to the page number. So make sure you write the correct page numbers. If not, then Word में आपके पास एक option होता है जिसमें आप right click करते हैं, you will get an update table of contents. So table of contents can automatically be updated. Or I would prefer कि table of contents हम बना लेते हैं, but उसके page number we will update at the end to avoid any ambiguity. Sometimes हम एक या दो pages कम ज़्यादा करते हैं. So make sure you are selecting the correct pages with respect to the headings or the subheadings. Then next part comes as the project body. Body is the main content or the substance of the project, जिसमें हम बहुत सारी information provide करते हैं, where we talk about the analysis, findings, discussions, and that should be structured, because when we just mention so many content, it seems that some content we mention at the first, then at the end. It should be something like we are telling a story, right? So it should be structured in a logical and organized manner, which will convey effectively what's the project purpose, what's the methodologies we use, what's the results which are inferred, and what's the conclusion. That would be helpful for an audience or the readers to understand the project clearly. Then next is project annexure. Annexure is nothing but it's something the supplementary documents which you think के documents these are important but you can't mention it in the main body or you can say in the main project, so that you just provide in supplementary के boss you can just refer to these documents, charts, diagrams or any other information, right? If I talk about in any project in the live companies and you work, then you just provide some documents like minutes of meeting or the key stakeholders, then you just provide that additional information that sometimes the persons are keenly interested to get that knowledge, so that's not a part of the project, but yeah, these are important for a part of the project. So it provides the further details or evidence that are relevant to the project but not included in our main body, that is normally located at the end of the document. Then comes the objectives. That objective comes into the part of the project body, right? So now we are covering 8 sections of the project body. The first part is the project objectives. As the name suggests, outlines what's the desired outcomes and results. Basically तुम चाहते क्या हो वो you need to specify that what's the main aim. You can have one or multiple objective. It's not like कि आपको सिर्फ एक ही project एक objective clear होना चाहिए. You can just mention 2 or 3 objectives. Objectives are of 2 types, primary and secondary. Now the question comes that what's the difference between a primary and the secondary one? So primary is simply the one which is the key part. Like I want to become this as the best company, right? That is the primary objective कि मेरी company best company हो. Now what will be the secondary? The goods which I am preparing that are of best quality, ठीक है. I should make sure that wastage कम से कम हो, मैं अपने employees को भी खुश रखूँ, competitives की भी मैं SWOT analysis करूँ. So these are my secondary objectives. Primary objective मेरा एक है, but secondary उससे corresponding multiple आ गया. That's basically the sub parts of my primary objective, right? So you can just choose your primary objective and you can mention 1 or 2 secondary objectives. That purely depends, or maybe you can just have only one key primary objective. The objective should be specific, बिल्कुल clear होना चाहिए, measurable in terms of some quantification, like मुझे अपना revenue इतना increase करना है, maybe qualitative और quantitative, achievable, ऐसा नहीं हो कि मैं बोलूँ कि मेरी दुनिया की best company होनी चाहिए. Definitely I should start progressively, working progressively and see that क्या मैं उसको achieve कर सकता हूँ. Relevant होना चाहिए and time bound. ऐसा नहीं है कि मुझे वो complete करने में 100 or thousands of years लगे. That should be a particular time frame, and that is very important to understand in terms of your real life. When you work for some company and you are working on some project, these features are very important to understand. Next is project scope. Scope is like it talks about the detailed description of the deliverables, features, functions, tasks, goals, right? So basically ये आपको बताता है कि क्या आप कवर करने वाले हैं, क्या नहीं कवर करने वाले. It provides the boundaries between the constraints and the objectives. It basically talks what needs to be included and what's not included. Like suppose if I'm talking about any company, तो मैं उनको clearly बोलूँगा कि मैं इसका HR वाला part कवर कर रहा हूँ, मैं finance वाला part कवर कर रहा हूँ, but IT वाला नहीं कर रहा, मैं hardware वाला part नहीं कवर कर रहा. So एक clear objective होना चाहिए कि बस इस objective के तहत मेरा ये वाला scope होने वाला है, and scope will act as a baseline. जब आप project में आगे progress करेंगे, then जो भी चेंजेस करेंगे या जो भी आप कंट्रोल करेंगे that would whole relatable to the scope, because many a times when you work on a live project the stakeholders come ke boss you have not done this thing, then you should have your scope ke boss this is not in our scope, that we are not going to cover in this particular project, that you can take it as a some request and a change request and we can go and deliver it in another project, but scope says कि ये मुझे करना है and ये नहीं करना, right? जब तक वो क्लियर नहीं होगा the client will say a number of things, आपके प्रोजेक्ट भी लंबा चलता रहेगा, it's a never ending one, right? So आपकी वो clear boundaries होना जरूरी है that you mention in your scope. Then is executive summary. So executive summary, it's like a snapshot of the project. You are just comprising each and everything in just 2 or 3 pages. It's a high level summary providing the key pointers, key objectives, findings, recommendation. It should be clear and concise and it will give a clear impression to the reader that what's the project main points. उसका पूरा एक सार निकल के आना चाहिए, right? It's basically designed for those busy stakeholders who don't have the much time to just go through that 60-70 pages of complete report. They just go through that 2 or 3 pages and they just got an understanding के boss ये आप इसमें करना चाहते हैं, ये आप achieve करेंगे, ये आपकी recommendation है, that's all. Right, so that should be clear enough कि that should show some interest in the stakeholders कि वो आपकी report को accept करें, because 2-3 pages में it's similar to like your resume. You have a number of things to do, but in resume you just mention the relevant information that would give a positive impression towards the interviewee, right? Interviewer. So it's important that summary should be clear, should cover each and every point in a concise, crisp, clear manner, right? Then next is methodology. Methodology is a systematic approach with a set of process procedures which you are going to plan, execute, and manage in the project. If I talk about the common methodology which we use in our MBA projects, like one is doing some research on a new innovative thing. The case study is something which is already existing and you are just giving a case study. Action research, the business plan which you are going to develop. The consulting projects where you are just giving some kind of strategic planning which we covered in the last point. Process improvement, existing process you want to improvise in the existing process. So these are the kind of methodologies which you can use, and that can help you to make the title, right? Because आपको clear होना चाहिए आप चाह क्या रहे हो, आप क्या यूज करने वाले हो, आप क्या किसी एग्जिस्टिंग चीज को बताने वाले हो, या कोई नई चीज करने वाले हो, या कोई स्ट्रेटेजी बताने वाले हो, या कुछ इम्प्रोवाइज करने वाले हो, या आप सिर्फ एक थ्योरेटिकल ज्ञान देने वाले हो. सो बेस्ड ऑन दीज मेथोलॉजीज यू कैन डिफाइन के आपका थॉट क्या है, आप प्रोजेक्ट किसके ऊपर करना चाहते हैं, राइट? Then next is data collection and analysis. That's again an important aspect where you just gather the relevant information and draw the meaningful conclusion. That is the important part जो आपको खुद से डिजाइन करना पड़ेगा. मे बी यू कैन जस्ट प्रिपेयर सम सैम्पल रिकॉर्ड्स. आपको डेटा कलेक्शन करना पड़ेगा वेयर यू जस्ट आइडेंटिफाई द डिफरेंट सोर्सेज लाइक प्राइमरी सेकेंडरी. प्राइमरी सोर्सेज आपको सम सर्वेज, क्वेश्चनियर. सेकेंडरी सोर्सेज मे बी फ्रॉम न्यूज आर्टिकल्स, जर्नल्स, मैगजीन्स. यू आर जस्ट सेलेक्टिंग द मेथड्स, कलेक्टिंग द data and ensuring that those are valid and reliable. This is very important while working on some POCs, proof of concepts, while working in any company. When you just work on a company, you will see the importance, right? As of now, you can just use the dummy values. That doesn't impact much in terms of your academic part, but yes, it's important while doing on live projects. Data analysis, like how you prepare the data, doing descriptive inferential analysis, you are interpreting the data. It's simply the numbers, so you need to find inferences out of these numbers. वो numbers क्या बोलते हैं, what the number says, that's very important. Then the validity and the reliability checks. So that all the things, as of now you can just put hypothetical values, but yes, while working in the live projects, it's important to understand. Then what are the findings? That's the crisp of the part, where it's a key section of the report where you just provide your results, conclusions based on the data analysis or the things you have done in the previous sections of the body. It will give you the observations, it will move towards the project goals and give you a clear understanding what's the problem and which the topic you have covered under the investigation. And the things should be in a chronological order, alphabetical order, and in line with the objectives. Objectives में क्या था, वही मेरे findings आना चाहिए, वही findings मेरी आके जाके will become my recommendation. And findings should be based on the results जो हमने पहले withdraw किए हैं, right? It's not like हम कुछ भी findings दे रहे हैं, right? Then next part comes the suggestions and recommendation. These suggestions and recommendations again in line with your findings. It's your thoughts, it's your actionable proposals जो आप देंगे with respect to any issue or the challenges or the opportunities which you have find. And you can give your comments, but that should be logical and should be justified, practical, evidence-based and tailored as per our project. And definitely it will help for the stakeholders to just understand that what will be the next course of action. उन्हें पता होना चाहिए कि आप ये suggest कर रहे हो कि बॉस यहाँ पे ये loopholes मुझे मिले या यहाँ पे gaps मिले. You need to address these pointers so that we can just go to the next level at a broader picture, right? So suggestions and recommendations are very important. कुछ भी वेग नहीं लिखना है. It should be the based on the sections we covered in the body part earlier, and it should be fulfilling those pointers, right? Then next part comes is the bibliography. Bibliography is the list of sources which you have consulted or referred in a document just to verify your accuracy and credibility. Like आपको information कहाँ से मिला? Because many a times while working on a project you just write a lot many statements which you can just refer from Google, from maybe from any case study or maybe from any journal. So why it's important to just write two things in a bibliography? Because one day the person will come and say कि boss ये तो मुझे नहीं लगता सही है, from where you had just corrected. Then you should have an evidence के boss मैंने खुद से नहीं लिखा है, I just find this information and that is a relevant information which I just found from a particular abstract or from a particular research paper which is already being published, right? So you should give your credibility, means you should be authentic. आपने जो लिखा है वो authentic है, उस चीज को justify करने के लिए you just require the bibliography, because many a time student will say कोई bibliography में क्या लिखना है, bibliography में भी just mention कि हमने जिनको consult किया, but you should understand that why bibliography is important, and that's why I'm just preparing this video so that you will be able to understand the different sections and why those sections are important to be mentioned in the project report, right? You can give the credit to the authors and the creators, demonstrating the academic integrity and avoiding plagiarism, because many a times the plagiarism may come up. So that's why you mention that according to Mr. ZZZ or according to Mr. ABC, this particular statement and quotation is there. So it's important to avoid any plagiarism. You can clearly defining that person name के बॉस ये मेरा credit नहीं है, ये उस बंदे ने लिखा है, and that's why I'm just mentioning in the double quote specifying the name of that particular person. And in bibliography again, you can just give the references of the page numbers or the abstracts which you have been taken from, right? So these are the all sections which we had covered. So I hope you get a clear understanding what the project all about and what needs to be covered in the project. In the coming videos I will be covered the key topics and will help you that how to draft a video, how to draft a project that will give you a very clear understanding, and hope you will just not only think from the academic perspective but also from your broader understanding, also for your growth towards a wider area. It's important to understand. So wish you good luck, and if you like this video, do subscribe to my channel, and if you have any doubts you can just post it on my comment section, or you can just drop me an email. I would be happy to help you. Thank you once again and have a nice day. Bye bye.